Ever feel like your brain could use a bit of a boost? Like, when it comes to numbers, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, get this. We're about to dive into something really cool. Vedic Maths.
Mm.
It's an ancient system,
Mm.
and it might just change how you look at numbers.
Yeah.
Forever.
Oh, wow.
Imagine like being able to calculate 10 or even 15 times faster than you can now.
Wow.
No calculators. Just pure brain power.
Hmm.
That's what Vedic Maths can do. Really?
It's incredible.
And it's not some kind of magic trick, is it?
No, not magic, though. It might feel like it at first.
Right.
It's actually rooted in the Vedas,
Okay.
those ancient Indian scriptures.
Hmm.
And it offers a totally unique and surprisingly efficient way to solve, well, math problems.
That's fascinating.
Oh, and before we get too deep into this, big shout out to London Heartbeat Z Academy here in the UK. And they've been amazing in supporting this deep dive.
Wonderful.
Over 150 courses they offer on all sorts of things.
You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube.
I see.
So yeah, go check them out, follow them. Don't miss out on discussions like this one.
Right.
Okay, back to Vedic Maths.
Okay.
What's the deal with it?
Well, at its core, Vedic Maths uses these things called sutras.
Sutras.
Yeah, they're basically principles, like little aphorisms.
Mhm.
There's 16 of them, and then 13 subsutras that kind of refine those ideas.
So like mental shortcuts.
Exactly. They let you approach calculations in a more, intuitive way, often much, much faster.
So it's not about memorizing a ton of formulas.
Not at all. It's about understanding, like, patterns in numbers and how they relate to each other.
Interesting.
It's all about being flexible, mentally agile, so you can find creative solutions instead of just, plugging numbers into formulas.
Okay, I'm kind of intrigued now.
Good.
But I got to be honest, like, most people hear maths and they just shut down,
Yeah, I know.
They think it's too complicated, too boring, even scary.
That's true.
How does Vedic Maths deal with that?
Well, that's where the beauty of this system really comes in. Because it's all based on these intuitive principles and patterns, it actually makes calculations easier and more fun. When you take away that fear, that frustration, it's so much easier to learn and get good at it.
Okay, so it's about building confidence and making math less intimidating.
Exactly.
Those are great benefits already.
Yeah.
But is it really faster? We've been saying, like, 10 to 15 times faster.
Right.
But, like, give me an example, a real one.
Sure. Let's say you need to multiply 97 by 96.
Okay.
The way we usually do it, it's kind of a long process, carrying over numbers, all that.
Yeah.
Lots of room for error, right? But with Vedic Maths, we use something called Niklam.
Nickel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's much faster.
Right.
See, both numbers are close to 100, so that's our base.
Got it.
You subtract each one from 100.
So 3 and 4.
Right. Those are your deficiencies.
Okay.
Now you multiply those together, easy. It's 12, and that's the last part of your answer. For the first part, subtract one deficiency from the other original number.
Okay.
So either 97 minus 4 or 96 minus 3.
They both give you 93.
Exactly. Put that with the 12, and you get 9322.
Wow. That was, like, so fast.
Right.
I mean, compared to how I usually do it, it seemed effortless.
Exactly. And that's just one example.
Really?
Yeah, there are Vedic techniques for squaring numbers, cubing them, fractions, algebra, even calculus, all designed to streamline the process.
So it's faster and easier.
And often more accurate, too.
This is pretty amazing.
And it is.
But before we get too into the specifics, I think it's important to, like, understand the context.
Okay.
We know it comes from the Vedas, but what does that really mean?
That's a really important question.
Right.
Because Vedic Maths is more than just a bunch of tricks for calculating.
Yeah.
It's really tied into the philosophy and worldview of the Vedas. These texts, they emphasize how everything's interconnected in the universe. And that's reflected in Vedic Maths and its focus on patterns and relationships.
So it's like a holistic thing.
Exactly. It's not just a tool. It's a way of understanding the order and harmony of the cosmos.
Wow. So math is like a language for understanding the universe.
Precisely. And that connection to ancient wisdom is what makes Vedic math so unique and intriguing.
So we're tapping into something old, but also really innovative.
Right.
It's like using ancient knowledge to unlock new ways of thinking.
Exactly.
Okay, you got me really curious now.
Great.
But I can already tell there's so much more to uncover here.
Oh, yeah.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
You're right. There's so much more to discover. from the specific techniques and how we use them, to the philosophy behind it and the historical context. It's a whole world of fascinating stuff.
It sounds like we've got an exciting journey ahead of us.
We do, and I'm looking forward to sharing it all with you.
Awesome.
Welcome back.
Okay, so we've talked about the history, the philosophy behind Vedic maths, even hinted at how efficient it can be.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get into the how-to now, the actual techniques.
Me too.
Where do we start?
Well, we touched on Nicolam for multiplication.
Right.
Let's dig into that a bit more.
Okay.
It's like a perfect example of how Vedic math simplifies things.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it's all about working with base numbers.
Okay.
So if we're dealing with numbers near 100, then 100 is our base.
Right.
Near 1,000.
Then 1,000 is the base.
Exactly.
So the base is like our anchor.
Yeah.
But how does that make calculating faster?
It's all about these things called deficiencies.
Efficiency.
Yeah. Let's say we're multiplying 98 by 95.
Okay.
Both close to 100, right?
Right.
Our deficiencies are 2 and 5.
Because you subtract them from 100 to get those numbers.
Exactly. Now, here's the Vedic magic.
Okay.
You multiply the deficiencies. 2 times 5, that's 10. That's the right side of our answer. Then subtract one deficiency from the other original number.
So 98 minus 5.
Or 95 minus 2.
Both equal 93.
Right. And that's the left side. Put them together, you get 9310.
It's like a mental puzzle.
Kinda.
But the pieces just click into place so quickly.
That's the beauty of it.
I'm starting to see why people like this system.
And this works even if the numbers are bigger than the base.
Oh.
Like, let's say we're multiplying 102 by 104.
Okay.
Still using 100 as our base.
Right.
But now we've got surpluses. They exceed the base by 2 and 4.
Got it.
Same process. Multiply the surpluses, that's 8 for the right side. Then add one surplus to the other original number.
So 102 plus 4.
Or 104 plus 2.
I'm on a 6.
Put it all together, 1 and 608.
Okay, so it's all about like playing with those deficiencies or surpluses.
Exactly. And that kind of pattern recognition, that's key to Vedic maths.
Mhm.
It's about looking beyond just memorizing formulas. Seeing the structure underneath, how numbers really work.
It's almost like training your brain to be more flexible, adaptable.
Yeah, and those are useful skills, even outside of math.
Absolutely.
Vedic maths, it helps you think in a way that applies to, well, all sorts of things. Problem solving, analyzing, understanding how things work. But let's get back to the techniques themselves.
Right.
We've got Nicolam for multiplication.
What about other stuff, like squaring numbers?
Oh, Vedic maths has you covered there, too.
Yeah.
There's a technique called ekadhikina pervina.
Ekatikena pervena. Try saying that 3 times fast.
I know, right? It means one more than the previous one.
Right.
Let's say you want to square 65. First, you look at that first digit, 6. The sutra says take one more than that, so 7.
Okay.
Multiply the original digit by that new number. 6 times 7 is 42. That's the left side of our answer.
Okay.
And the right side is always 25 when you're squaring a number ending in 5. Put them together, 4225.
Wow. That's pretty slick.
Right. Especially helpful for people just learning this stuff. Makes it so much less intimidating.
Yeah. No more fear of math.
Exactly. And that's another big plus for Vedic maths. It simplifies things, focuses on understanding, not just memorizing, so people feel more confident they can actually enjoy math.
It's like you're taking a big, complicated problem and breaking it down into, like, these bite-sized pieces.
Perfect analogy. And that's how a lot of Vedic techniques work. Smaller, easier steps, so the whole thing seems less scary.
This is all so fascinating. But is there, like, a downside? Are there times when the regular way might be better?
That's a good question. No system is perfect for everything. Vedic maths is super fast, super efficient for a lot of calculations, but there might be times, especially with really big, really complex numbers, where traditional methods or even a calculator would be more practical. It's like having different tools and picking the right one for the job.
Makes sense. So it's not about replacing all math, just adding more options.
Exactly. Vedic maths is like a complement. It gives you a different perspective, some powerful tools that can really enhance how you understand and work with numbers.
This has been really eye-opening. But I feel like we're, like, barely scratching the surface.
Oh, yeah, there's tons more to explore. We haven't even gotten to division, fractions, algebra, or how Vedic maths connects to other ancient knowledge systems.
Sounds like we need another deep dive session just for that.
We could probably do a whole series.
Maybe we should. But I think we've laid a good foundation here, explored some key techniques, and hopefully got people curious to learn more.
I hope so.
Welcome back, everyone.
Back for more Vedic maths.
You got it.
Great.
We've been on this incredible journey, learned about the history, the philosophy, even seen some of these amazing techniques in action.
Pretty mind-blowing stuff, right?
Yeah, it is. But before we wrap things up, there's one thing I want to touch on that we haven't really talked about much yet.
Okay.
The actual history of Vedic maths.
Right.
We know it comes from the Vedas, but how did this ancient knowledge, how did it make it to us today?
That's a great question, and it's actually a really fascinating story. It all centers around this brilliant guy, Hari Krishna Tirthaji. He was an Indian scholar, a mathematician, who spent years studying the Vedas.
Wow.
He was convinced that there was this incredible math system hidden within these texts, one that had been, kind of lost or forgotten over time.
So he was like an archaeologist of sorts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unearthing this lost treasure.
Love that analogy.
He spent years in deep study, meditating on the verses, analyzing them, and he eventually he decoded the mathematical secrets that were woven into the Vedas.
That's amazing. But how did he, share these discoveries?
Well, in the early 20th century, he started teaching, lecturing, spreading the word about Vedic maths to his students, to other scholars.
Okay.
And he also wrote everything down, all his findings. His big work, it was called Vedic Mathematics, and it came out in 1965. That book, it became like the foundation for how we understand Vedic maths today.
So that book was the key.
Exactly. Unlock the secrets for the rest of us. Tirthaji's work was really a catalyst.
Yeah.
It sparked this whole renewed interest in Vedic maths. He explained everything so clearly and concisely, and he was so passionate about it, it got people excited.
It's incredible to think that all of this ancient knowledge could have just disappeared.
Yeah.
But thanks to this one person, it was brought back to life.
It's a testament to the power of knowledge itself.
Yeah.
And the importance of keeping these traditions alive,
Totally.
But Tirthaji, he wasn't just about reviving something from the past. He really believed that Vedic maths had a huge relevance for us today in education and society and how we think.
Okay, so what were some of his ideas about that? How Vedic maths could be used in the modern world?
Well, he saw it as more than just a set of techniques. For him, Vedic maths cultivated a specific way of thinking, this mental agility, this flexibility that was essential for success in anything, really.
Interesting.
He thought it could totally revolutionize education.
Yeah.
Make math more engaging, more accessible, fun for students.
And that ties into everything we've been talking about, right?
Exactly. Vedic maths goes way beyond just numbers. It's about being creative, intuitive, and looking at problems in a more holistic way.
And, look at the growing interest in Vedic maths today.
Yeah.
In schools, in different careers. It's clear that Tirthaji was really onto something.
He was way ahead of his time.
It's like we're rediscovering all these amazing things from the past. And realizing, they can really help us today in so many ways.
I think that's a perfect way to wrap up this deep dive. Vedic maths is a reminder that we can learn from the past and use that knowledge to face the challenges of today and tomorrow.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thank you so much for guiding us through this incredible world.
It was my pleasure.
I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to keep exploring.
Yes.
There's a whole universe of knowledge out there waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely.
Until next time, everyone, keep those minds curious